Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Patrick. This is Patrick's. Today we are putting on the Malossi Big Bore kit on our 2022 Vespa Primavera 150. So depending on whose website you look at, Scooter West says it's 183cc, SIP over in Germany says it's 185cc. I'm not going to measure it, but it's one of those. And so let's crack on. This is going to be the biggest undertaking for me working on my Vespa. It is very involved. If you're willing to break your scooter, try it at home. If you're comfortable, if you have a whole bunch of tools and stuff, you're good to do that. By all means, I'm not comfortable, but I do have a bunch of tools and I'm filming this whole build, so I guess I gotta do it myself. There's gonna be a few things we're doing here. Right off the bat, this is not a how-to video, guys. This is not a how-to. I'm going to link the video in the description that I'm using, Robot's video over at Vespa Motorsports. They have an amazing YouTube channel, all the how-tos for everything you'd want to do for your modern or your vintage Vespa. They are not a sponsor. They don't know who the hell I am, but I have been watching all of their videos as I've been building out my scooter. So I don't want you guys to follow me because I'm sure I'm gonna mess up. Follow Robot's video, link below if you're trying to do this yourself. What I am going to be doing is a performance test though, and it is a little rudimentary. We have the 0 to 60 as well as the top speed of this Vespa as it is right now. We've done a few things already, but I'll list those right now. So we are going to be testing how much the 0 to 60 has improved, as well as if the top speed has changed at all. Now with the Malossi Big Bore kit, you do also have to get the Malossi Force Master to increase the fuel. Apparently the Malossi Force Master also raises the RPM limiter. So in theory, we should get a little bit more top end speed, but I don't think this is going to affect the top end. I think it's just going to get us to that top speed considerably faster. Going up to 183 or 185 from 150 cc's, I think is like a 20%-ish improvement. So I don't know if we'll see 20% faster, but I think we will see a major improvement. A few things along with that. We're putting in an Iridium spark plug because we're there anyway. We're changing out all the gaskets. We're putting a new exhaust ring on. So I ordered most of this stuff from scooterwest.com, some of it from SIP, and I'll tell you which, and some of it from Malossi. So the only thing I ordered this stuff from SIP only because I was placing an order. These are a bunch of O-rings for the oil, which I'm going to be changing the oil a few times over the course of the next few weeks, so I need these. And then these are those copper crush washers for the crankcase, which we're not going to be touching today. This is the red chili oil filter, which I don't think we're going to be using because it's a 100-mile break-in, so I'll just use the stock that comes in the Vespa Motorsports kit. Get back to that in a sec. This is a Malossi Rapid Sense system. It will tell us the RPM, the temperature. Malossi says it works with our model year. SIP says it only works with GTSs. The only thing that might not work in this is that temperature gauge. The temperature gauge is not important for this part of the build, but when we try to install the nitrous system, and especially when we install the turbo, we're going to want to know exactly how hot the engine is getting. This is an air-cooled engine, so it's very likely to overheat with all the modifications we're going to be doing. Not this, it's fine for this, but the other stuff. The temperature gauge may or may not be the right size for the Vespa's Primavera. It might be the GTS size. I don't even know if the Vespa Primavera actually has a temperature gauge. It says they do online, but we'll see if we can find it when we tear this thing apart. Not necessary for this build, but necessary later on. This is a Copper Monkey flywheel. The smaller CC Vespas are air-cooled. They have like a plastic casing around them, and this flywheel here shoots in cooled air to cool down the engine. This is a performance flywheel. It's the only really aftermarket flywheel I could find, and it says it improves cooling. I don't know if that's the case. It's red, it looks cool. It does seem to be a slightly different design, but I guess we'll find out. One last thing before we get started. It is suggested to break in a new engine with natural mineral-based motor oil. Now, the Vespa calls for a 5W40 full synthetic. We're going to be doing a 10W40 mineral. Make sure you're getting motorcycle oil either way. It apparently is not quite as slick, helps everything wear in. That being said, guys, the only thing, there are two trains of thought for wearing in a new cylinder. Ride it super slow or ride it super hard. This engine has, I think, almost 2,000 miles on it already. Everything else is broken in. This has a nickel something plated bore. From what I see online, that doesn't actually wear in. The piston rings and all the other stuff are not enough to actually score that bore really at all. So you're not looking to wear in the bore. Apparently what you're looking to do is to seat the oil rings. I don't know too much about it, but from what I hear, when this is all installed, hopefully properly, we're gonna let the engine warm up, and then we're going to run it hard for 100 miles using this mineral-based oil. We'll do an oil change, put in the Motul Performance Full Synthetic 5W40. This is like their best performance kind of motor oil for motorcycles. And then we'll be doing the performance tests, 0 to 60, top speed, stuff like that. If you don't have like a plated bore like this, then you are gonna wanna wear it in like normal. I think it's, you know, with this stock engine, it's 625 miles, but everything else in the engine is broken in already, crankcase, gears, all that stuff. So that's my train of thought. You guys let me know in the comments if I'm doing that wrong. First things first, drain the oil and remove the engine from the Vespa. We're gonna be trying to put it on this table right here to work on it. I don't think I'm gonna film a lot of the actual disassembly. This is probably gonna take me all day today, if not tomorrow as well. I don't think it would all fit in one video. Robot's video, and he's moving at like the speed of light, is over an hour long. I'm just gonna crack on, drain the oil, start disconnecting all of the electrics and stuff, and try to pull the motor. Now guys, this oil is super new. It's got nothing. It's probably good that we like being used to like flush out the engine. It's not need an oil change, but we do have to drain the oil for the big bore kit. I already replaced the O-ring. Once it's done draining, we're gonna just reinstall both filters in the new plug so that we don't forget to do that. We already did most of the stuff on the left side. Now we gotta disconnect all the electrical. All the electrical is disconnected. I think we should only have like 2 more bolts to go. Disconnecting the suspension, and then just like the swing arm bolt, I think, should be the main engine pivot bolt. Great informative video over at Vespa Motorsports. It is like a 6-year-old video. I don't think they've made an updated one. And disconnecting all the electric is it cut out. It's spinning from the other side, so I just gotta hold it. I think we did it. Let's see if we can scoot it out. So in theory, oh, holy crap. Look at that, guys. I wonder what this goes to. Oh no. Probably something above it, I would assume. Figure that out when we get there. Engine out of the frame. It is on the table. I'm going to take a quick break, grab some grub, catch my breath. This is all really stressful. And then we're gonna start just disassembling this more. We're gonna take off this case. Oh, those are security screws. I gotta go pick up security torques and just keep on keeping on. Yeah, buddy. I don't think my audio was connected at all since I got back. Sorry. What I was saying is I'm just trying to keep track of screws and stuff. Gonna try to bang this out, finish it today. It's already like 2:30. And this is one of those projects that if I don't finish today, I'm scared I'm gonna forget where stuff goes. Following Robot's video, but the video is not everything. The video only has disassembly. It's missing like all of the electrical connections or disconnections, and then assembly of the main thing here. Does not have the reassembly of everything, so trying to keep track of what I'm doing. So the head is pretty much disassembled. I cracked all these till they're hand loose. Boom diggity. I'm gonna put down some more paper towel because this is probably gonna drain oil. We reuse this head. We're just changing the cylinder. Then we have a new gasket. A lot of buildup on that piston, guys, and it's on me for sure. We're about to say bye-bye to the stock cylinder. Hello to the Malossi performance cylinder. There are studs. I'm gonna leave the studs in there. You can throw out this gasket. Actually, I do have to remove the studs because I think this is the surface that I'm gonna sand down. I'm gonna be cleaning that up a little bit. Now, I'm confused. I'm sure you guys can see. The rest of the oil was like this bright red, and the oil coming out right now is like very dark. Is that usual? The scooter's been sitting for like 2 days. You guys see that though, the difference? Does that mean like one of my oil ports might be clogged? The bore looks clean. You can't really tell too well. I mean, this thing would have blown up if it was clogged, right? Let me know what you guys think. So the prep work, I have to clean the top of this cylinder. Looks a little, just a little rusty in there, guys. I assume that's from me having let it sit outside for a long time and then in my garage for a long time. There's a lot of carbon. There's an oil hole up here I'm trying to cover. And I do ride this thing hard, guys. You know, like I'm often full throttle. The roads by me are a little faster. They're usually 45, but people are driving 60. But this seems dirtier than it should be. But we're gonna prep this. I'm gonna sand it on a ceramic plate, going back and forth, 400 and 1,000. And then we're gonna clean out the Malossi bore itself. Well guys, it took a minute sanding that top down. Sanded it down as far as I was willing to do. There was a little roughness, but I think that's fine. One thing that's confusing me right now is the instructions here. It's telling me that the first segment is supposed to have a ridge and the second segment is square. But on Robot's video and the actual marking on the rings here, this top square ring is 1T and the second one is 2T. From what I can tell is 2T is the second ring, 1T is the top ring. But it's just super confusing because it's saying the opposite here. Now this is like universal for a few different kits. I don't know, it's sketchy, it's a little upsetting. If the rings corresponded to what the instructions said, I would just follow the instructions. But the rings are corresponding to what Robot says, so I'm gonna trust Robot. It's a newer kit, but I don't know, that's upsetting. What's going on, guys? One issue, and I don't know if it's an issue. I don't know if he had specified in the video or not. A little sketchy is that I put the left-hand side ring in, which means I'm gonna have to maneuver near this chain tensioner, and I just don't want to mess it up at all. This whole reassembly has taken way longer. You can see I'm stressed. It's been, I don't know, it's probably been like 10 minutes for you guys. This has been all day. It's almost 5 o'clock. I started at 10. Vespa Motorsports kit comes with the factory gasket, which has like a bead of silicone on it, I guess, which is supposed to be better. I don't know where it is. I didn't do an inventory. The stuff, when I unboxed it, I saw the other gaskets. I don't remember seeing a larger gasket like that, but sure, it's fine. Using the Malossi one anyway. This whole thing is so scary, guys. Oh. Hey. Just a minor panic attack motion. There were 2 smaller dowels that go on the bottom, and I panicked because I was like, oh no, I forgot. I was like, did I have to go on this? Do I have to remove that? But then I have to remove the piston, or do I leave the piston on the shaft and pull the whole bore off and stuff like that? That didn't happen though. I was able to move this, just lift this up a little bit, put the dowels in there where they go. That goes into there, and uno más aquí. Yeah, we ain't finishing this tonight, guys, but get as far as we can. This does have an orientation again. Pistons down. Exhaust down. Over those studs. I believe I torqued down that head properly. It has like a foot-pound or Newton-meter torque setting, and then an angle. I'm not gonna bother saying it. Just don't listen to me. Watch someone else do this if you're trying to follow along. For all that's good in the world, please don't follow me doing this. It's been a few hours. I had to run. for a meeting at 7, which I showed up an hour early for because I have my Apple Watch as an analog clock and I'm not too smart. Here's the issue. Luckily, kind of the first big issue that I've run into, knock on wood, that it's the last, as I'm looking at this spacer here that I don't know where it goes to. I think it goes to the airbox though. This timing chain tensioner right here has to be disassembled. This nut. Whoever at Piaggio, who makes Vespa, designed this to have a torque screw instead of a bolt. If ever there is an opportunity to have hexagonal bolt instead of a torque screw, do the bolt. I broke a bit trying to get this off. Luckily, I didn't strip the actual surface. And the thing is, this is such a flat screw here that if I was to round this out, I'm better off, there's no gripping it. I'm better off just ordering a whole new one, and that would set me back a few days. So I'm gonna torch the crap out of it. I hope I can get it done. Long story short, I can't get the engine back together until I get this out. Oh, thank God. Oh my goodness. Wow, that was super easy. Okay, now I have to let that cool down so I don't burn myself. Try to catch this. Whoo! Well, listen, I figured out how it works. You stick a really tiny flat-bladed screw in there and wind it to unscrew it. I still dislike whoever designed this because it's a two-handed job, and maybe let me see if I can feed these bolts through. Needlessly complicated. Putting the new Iridium spark plug in, it's very different. You're not supposed to gap these because you can break that Iridium tip off apparently. And I'm realizing this orange tinge that was on the cylinder and that's on the spark plug here could be rust. I don't know what I'm doing. Could be whatever the hell. It might be the octane booster I put in. I put an octane booster when I started this up for the first time in over a year because it was, the fuel had been sitting there for a while. I probably just shouldn't have run that fuel through it. Might have been some of the other stuff we saw in the cylinder. I think that can cause some of those have like an orange tinge to them they leave behind. We've been very lucky with this whole build, but Robot had a little lubrication bottle he was using. I don't have one of those. Just gonna pour in some oil here to pre-lubrication. Gonna replace this gasket here. I ordered a few of them for my next few valve adjustments. I might be messing with it a little bit when we start trying to tune this. I'm really optimistic. Hopefully I have time to mess with it before it blows up. I feel like at this point I'm more likely to blow the damn thing up. Also comes the new rubber grommet there. Time to put this back on. I don't think we forgot anything. This is terrifying. This is significantly easier. It's out of the engine though. So the engine is almost put back together. We have to put the starter on. We have to put the intake on. But before we do that, I am going to replace this flywheel. I believe I got the right one, although it looks as though it's significantly smaller. We're sending it. It says it fits. I don't know, this seems smaller. It says it performs better, but I feel like that's a lie. It does have a different shape. We're gonna install it. Looks pretty, right? That's all that matters. Really hope it performs better. We're gonna need it with all the stuff we're doing. As far as I'm aware, the motor is put back together here. I can't find any parts or bolts that I missed, at least, so that's good. Almost missed the fuel pressure sensor, which would not have been. And with that being located there, my idea of tapping into that for the turbo might be a little bit more difficult. Still doable. I'd have to drill out here probably. No, I'd have to just like chop this part off. Let me know in the comments below, where should I get pressurized fuel for the turbo? Where should my feed line be? Drain line's easy enough. I can tap into the oil pan, or I can, honestly, I kind of want to just convert this dipstick and just tap right in there, just flatten it out, drill a hole, tap right into this dipstick here, or make a dedicated cap, keep the dipstick in like a Ziploc bag or something. That might be the move, dedicated cap, for the oil to get back into the engine. But to get out, we need a pressurized line. There's a few spots, I mean, technically you could drill into the oil filter, but not really in a setup like this. If it was a paper filter with a cap, like a metal cap, like the drain plug maybe. Otherwise, that's really the only place we could get oil from. It's the only place I could think we could get oil from. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. When do we put this back in? Yo, next day. As far as I can tell, the engine's back together. I think I'll see you guys when I am trying to install the Force Master 2.1. I think I'm gonna try running it without the Force Master, just turn it on, make sure everything runs. It's not gonna run well, but just make sure everything runs, and then install the Force Master just to make sure. Cut out the variables if I mess stuff up. Woo. Clean the garage in a little bit. Everything, I believe, is put back together. I did not put the Force Master on yet. It's 10 to 12. I started around maybe 8:30, so there were a few things that were tricky. Actually mounting, getting that bolt back in the engine, I just had to pivot the engine, the front of the engine up more, so I had to lift the engine while she fed the bolt through. Other than that, I was able to do everything else. Force Master's not in. Want to make sure it runs, give it a few revs, nothing too crazy. I did put the oil back in. I put a new filter and the drain plug back in immediately. I put in a quart of oil. It's going to need more than that, but I'm gonna get all this stuff situated first, then I'll check the oil level and go from there. This is terrifying. Oil pressure light is gone. It sounds deeper. I don't see any drips. Give it a few revs. I know, again, it's probably no surprise to you guys, but sounds even deeper with the larger engine in it. I think it's like 20% larger, something like that. Now, install the Force Master. That's a pain in and of itself. So we're running into another issue, and I don't really know what to do with it. I have the Malossi Force Master. The instructions, I'm kind of upset by the whole experience. The instructions were kind of not great. Kind of, but not great. And I'm running into an error. So the connectors that they come with to tap into the wires are kind of crap. You really have to wrench on them down. So originally, the unit wasn't turning on at all. I wrenched on all the connections, made sure they were good. Then the unit started turning on. But I have a diagnostic error. And the diagnostic error is saying that the injector is not connected. Now, without the Force Master in the equation, with the injector connector just connected to the injector, it turns on and it runs. Granted, it's definitely running extremely lean because it's a much bigger engine. We're putting the same amount of fuel in. It'll run, but you shouldn't drive it like that. Now, the second I interrupt that connection and intercept it with the male and female connector to the Malossi, it runs a code and a check engine light comes up on the Vespa. The kit came with an extra male and female, so I cut off the original male and female connections for the Malossi, posi tapped the second pair that they gave into it. There was one pop, and then the check engine light came on and the same thing, didn't run. There's nowhere else it could be. The unit's getting power because it's turning on, and it's connected to the ground. There's a different code that would show me if it was short-circuiting or something like that. I have to assume it's the unit. The only other thing I can think is that maybe this port is messed up. I mean, these wires are just continuous through this, you know? I don't know where else the disconnect could be. I was gonna cut these and use this extra port they give to try to connect it, but it seems they angle it so you can't mix it up. I'm at a loss. If I lived near a shop like Scooter West, I would just take it to them. I'm in Connecticut and I don't know of any shops, like I don't think my dealer installs this crap, you know? So not plugged into the Malossi unit. Fires up. It's clearly not the injector. So reconnect the Malossi unit. I'm telling you, the second I turn it on, the check engines light is gonna come on and say that it's not connected to the injector. It has to be the Malossi unit. They're male and female, there's only one way to connect them. I don't know how it could be me. And if it is Malossi, by the time I reach out to them and then they send it, it took 3 weeks for their stuff to get to me last time. Over 3 weeks, closer to 4 weeks. So I'm out for a month. Or Polini, their competitor, makes an ECU, a similar module. And do I just order that from SIP and get it in 3 days? I mean, I'm leaning towards that. Yeah, the check engine light's on, and it's gonna tell me that the injector's not connected. And look, we'll try it. That's probably just some like residual fuel that was left in the injector or something like that. I don't know, this is frustrating because like, as far as I can tell, all the stuff I did was right. It has power. It says it's not connected. So on Scooter West, it says the 2 wires going to the harness for the fuel injector will need to be swapped. So I swapped the 2 wires on either end of the fuel injector. The check engine light went off. This is still saying injector not connected. Will I short something when I try to start this? I'm gonna try it one more time. Saying the injector's not connected, but no check engine lights come on. I'm gonna try swapping it back. What's the other option, guys? Check engine light, come on. Okay, check engine light's on now. Scooter West says the 2 wires going to the unit will need to be swapped. I don't know, I swapped them. Ah! Oh my goodness, I've been recording for 17 minutes. I think I figured it out though. Ah! No diagnostics. Holy crap. Holy crap. Okay guys, I'm gonna tell you exactly what you need to do differently for the Forcemaster 2.1 in just a second. All right guys, so I think I'm gonna do a very short dedicated video after the fact, just so that the next person that tries to search it up will find it a little bit easier. I did make a post on Modern Vespa forum about it as well. This right here is the Malossi male injector plug, all right? This is what goes from the Malossi kit as the male plug and goes into the female injector plug. Now, Malossi says this nowhere. Scooter West does say it, but not super clear. Long story short, you need to snip these 2 wires coming from the Malossi ECU to this male connector and just swap them. If you keep it as is, the Malossi ECU will say injector 1 OC, which means out of connection. When you try to start it up, it won't start up. When you swap these, when you turn the ignition on, the Malossi ECU will say injector 1 OC out of connection, but there will no longer be a check engine light on your Vespa. And when you go to start it, it'll start up. Once it's actually running, the diagnostic code goes away on the Malossi ECU. But for whatever reason, you know, Vespa or Malossi swap these 2 plugs, and it's not said anywhere on the Malossi instructions whatsoever. I couldn't find it on any forums or anything. Scooter West does say that the 2 plugs going into the injector, going to the unit, need to be swapped. The issue with that is that there's actually more than just 2 plugs. You have the male Malossi plug and you have the female Malossi plug. There are 2 lines going to the ECU and 2 lines going to each other. The issue with that is it's not these 2 lines, unless I did it incorrectly. But no, because I tried it the other way and it didn't work. Long story short, for the male injector going to the Malossi kit, swap those 2 wires. Once you fire it up, it will run. Now, I actually already put 100 miles on this thing, and I'm gonna be doing that first oil change. I did 100 hard miles, got it up to the top speed. I was on the highway for a while. We're gonna talk about that after I do the oil change and do the 0 to 60 and top speed test. The coating that comes in the inside of the cylinder for the Malossi kit doesn't wear down. what you're looking to do is not to break in the bore, but to seat the piston ring. You can do that by running it hard. So I ran it hard for 100 miles. We're gonna change the oil. We're gonna top it off with the full synthetic 5W40 Motul, their racing series. I think it's like a bright neon yellow oil, which is pretty cool. And then we are going to take it out, do the 0 to 60, get a top speed run, because the top speed did increase a little bit, and I'll give you guys my opinion of it. The Malossi unit has 4 settings. In the instructions on the Malossi ECU, it says all the curve numbers are 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Now on Scooter West's website, luckily they say curve 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 as the Malossi, or 1, 2, 3, as the Malossi also says 0, 1, 2, 3. I have the Malossi ECU on curve 3. Curve 3 is the Malossi big bore kit with the Malossi exhaust with the baffles in and the stock air filter. There are 3 RPM ranges you can change the fuel by 2%. You can go plus or minus 14% on 0 to 3,000 RPM, 3,000 to 6,000, and then 6,000 plus. The limiter is 9,250. So you can change the fuel percentage by plus or minus 14% on each of those RPM ranges. Because I have the Malossi high flow air filter and the baffles removed on this Akrapovic exhaust, I added plus 2% on the fuel on all 3 RPM ranges. And I believe that is a good place to start. I'm gonna need to do further testing. I don't have a dyno I can use. If anyone knows anyone in Connecticut that has a dyno that would be willing to let me mess with this on their dyno, obviously I'll pay. Let me know, drop it in the comments down below, because I've called around and none of the local motorcycle dynos will let me throw this thing on the dyno. Kind of a pain in the butt. I think this is the right fuel mixture, or better, because it no longer backfires. And generally, backfiring is a sign of it running lean. So with the plus 2% on curve 3, there is no backfiring, and I think the engine is running well. That's what I'm running at for right now. So let's go ahead, throw this in the chuck, and change the oil. Swapping out with the Malossi red chili filter as well. I watched Robot's review on the oil filters. It looked as though the red chili seemed to be the largest, but what he was saying is just cost to reward. It might not be worth it if you're not doing anything crazy with it, but the red chili filter does seem to have the largest media filter on it. Yeah, it does look like there's a few specks here or there, but nothing like concerning. And all right, we're gonna swap out this O-ring, put that filter back, put the red chili filter on, and fill her up. This really bright neon oil. I don't know what that means. This does seem thinner than the stuff I used to break it in, and that is because it's 5W20 or 5W40 as opposed to 10W40. And the difference between that 5 or 10, I think, is the consistency at 100 degrees. Which, if it's thicker when it's colder like that, then it's definitely thicker when it's even colder. So this is flowing a lot quicker than that 10W40, which I'm happy about, because it took me like 15 minutes to put, I put right about like 1.3 liters in, and that got me right to the middle hash marks. We're gonna do the 0 to 60, and we're gonna do the top speed test. Keep in mind, guys, don't drive recklessly on public roads. It's illegal and it's dangerous, putting other people at risk. I'm gonna come back, we're gonna go over the results and overall what what I think about this whole build. All right. It is cold and windy out today, so as we head over to do our 0 to 60, gonna keep that in mind, but I think either way we'll be able to see significant improvement in acceleration. And there was an improvement on the top end as well, and I'll get you exactly, but with the race boxes, I hadn't used that, but it was faster than you'd probably want to go on this thing. And we haven't even added the 16 by 42 tooth. let's talk about some of my thoughts of the feel. It's louder, it's deeper, it sounds a lot more mean than it actually is. It's not supposed to be any sort of speed demon in either acceleration. Urban riding with this thing is where it loves to be. As we'll see when we do the acceleration results, the 0 to 60 or 0 to 57 at least has improved dramatically, obviously. But where we see the biggest results are really like the 0 to 30 and the 0 to 50. Just looking at from everything else we've done before the big board kit to after the big board kit, I mean, the improvement there is much greater than the 0 to 57 or 60 because that's really the top end of what this scooter can do and what it was designed to do. I mean, it can do this all day, guys. We're hovering right around 50 here. This is a route. This isn't a highway. But it can do this all day. If you don't have to hop on the highway, it makes it much more responsive. I mean, I was overtaking cars on the highway yesterday. Not a lot of them, but there were cars that I was going faster than. The other cars could have gone faster than me, but they were choosing to go slower. And that's kind of where we run into the limitations of a scooter in general, even the 300cc ones. They can, I think the 300cc can get up to like 80 miles an hour is how they come. But if you needed some get up and go on the highway, like I don't think it's there. I don't think they can do it. It will get up to 80, but it's not like you can, go from 70 to 80, just pass someone real quick and keep going. Like it's not how it works. All right. The results are in. My hands are cold. I'll see you guys next time. All right, so let's go over our runs, our fastest run last week before the big board kit. Our 0 to 30, 3.98 seconds. 0 to 50, 10.26 seconds. 0 to 57, 13.95. And that's what the Speedo says is 60. And 17.06 for the 0 to 60, the actual 0 to 60 using the Racebox Mini S. So today's results, 0 to 30. 3.07 seconds. So we shaved 0.9 seconds. We shaved almost a whole second off the 0 to 30. 0 to 50 is 8.88, down 2 seconds, or second and a half, down from 10.26. 0 to 57, 13.29 seconds, so over half a second. But the 0 to 60, 15.89, so that's over a second off. It seems like, again, because that's at the top of its limit, the extra 30 cc's of the big bore kit helps you get there. Now, that's after having broken in the engine and stuff on a very windy day. Yesterday, pre-break-in, really, on a less windy day, we actually got slightly faster results. The 0 to 30 and 0 to 50 were actually slower, but the 0 to 57 was 13.12, and the 0 to 60 was 15.31. So 15.31 is the time to beat. I mean, that's the fastest we got. We'll say 15.89 just because that's what we did after the engine's broken with the new oil in it. 13.29. Guys, if you remember when we started this series, we were using the Speedo on here. So the 0 to 60, the first one we got was 20.1 something seconds, and I'll drop the exact number below. We're down to 13.29. So we cut 7 seconds off with the big bore kit, exhaust, CVT. Yeah, I mean, we've done a lot of stuff to the scooter, and there's not much else we can do that's available on the market to get it faster. So there's one more thing coming in, which we'll be putting on next, and that is the SIP driven pulley. So on the back end of the CVT, the Vespa CVT is a driven pulley. That's the only thing we didn't change when doing the Malossi kit, because Malossi, as far as I'm aware, doesn't have a driven pulley kit. SIP's driven pulley kit is asymmetrical, so the cones on either side are differently shaped and they're sharper. So in theory, you get through those gears quicker, and it should help with acceleration. Next week, we'll test out just how much it helps with acceleration. And in terms of top speed, guys, top speed today I was able to get up to 68 miles per hour. And that was over the 70 mile per hour mark on the Speedo. Yesterday, guys, and I didn't have the race box on, but yesterday on the highway, without the wind, I'm fairly certain I was able to get up to 70. It was right at the 73 mark. So yeah, today's top speed was 68 miles per hour. I'm pretty certain I got up to 70 yesterday. I don't have proof, so we'll say the top speed is 68. There's really only one thing we can do. One thing I'm aware of that we can do to raise the top speed of this, and that is an overdrive gear. So I'm not a mechanic, I don't know too much about it, but after the driven pulley, there are a few gears, and it comes with the gear ratio of 15 to 41. I have a Malossi Performance 16 to 42, and they call it an overdrive gear. So what that should do is it's actually gonna hurt our acceleration a little bit, and we'll be able to test just how much, but it's going to increase the top speed. Now, driving this thing at those speeds is sketchy. It's not comfortable. It's doable if you need to hop on the highway or the freeway for a stop or something, that's fine. I had this thing on the highway for 30 minutes yesterday, going from like New Haven to central Connecticut on 91, and I was keeping up with traffic. I was in the slow lane, but I did overtake a few cars, and I was getting so many thumbs up and head nods, because I don't think most people realize that like a scooter like this size can go that fast. But what I'll say is, without wind and without the buffeting from semi trucks, doable. Not super stable. A little bit of wind, it wiggles, it corrects itself. Like, it doesn't do a speed wobble or anything like that, but it's so light and it's so small, and you have such an upright position, it doesn't take much to knock it. I never moved out of my lane, but you're knocked around a lot. And it's just, if you want to be on the highway more frequently, go up to the 300s. They're like at least 100, 150 pounds heavier. They have a 300cc engine. They can go 80 miles an hour. You're going to be more comfortable and safer on that thing. So with that being said, we're going to be putting in the 16 by 42 gear eventually, but I think I'm probably going to go back to the 15 by 41. We'll see. If it doesn't affect acceleration that much, then screw it. We'll keep it. Why not? Why not be able to go a little faster if we need to? But I'm concerned that it's going to affect the acceleration noticeably. The idea is with the 16 by 42 gear is it allows you to go faster at a lower RPM. The Malossi Forcemaster 2.1 has a rev limit of, I think 9,250 RPM. Now guys, I haven't put this thing on a dyno. If you guys know anyone in central Connecticut or in Connecticut or the general area of Northeast United States that would be willing to throw this thing on the dyno, let me know in the comments below. But I don't know the horsepower that we're getting. We haven't gotten it tuned. We added about 2% more fuel from the third mapping on each RPM range that the Malossi Forcemaster allows you to, and there's no backfiring or anything. I think that's probably good. I guess I could check the spark plug to see how it looks, see if it's all gummed up and maybe it's running too rich, but I don't think so. It doesn't feel sluggish or anything. I mean, it blows everything out of the water. But in terms of the build, guys, the disassembly and assembly of the engine, doable. There was nothing of that was like super upsetting, other than having a really small Torx bit be the timing chain tensioner. There's plenty of room to put a hex nut on top. Why would you make that a Torx bit? Luckily, using the impact, I broke the Torx bit I was using and didn't strip that because it's a flat disc. I would have had to buy a new tensioner. Like, I just wouldn't have been able to get that off. I could have welded it and stuff like that, but at that point, I would have just had to buy a new tensioner. So that was a pain. I needed help actually removing and reinstalling the main pivot bolt. That's not surprising though. I mean, I think most people are going to be having an extra person around if you're doing this. If you're not mechanically inclined and you're not comfortable doing any of the other mods that we've done to this, don't even try to do it yourself. It's definitely on the extreme end of what I'm capable of doing here. That being said, that is the most complicated thing to do. So I would say probably with this engine, other than taking apart the bottom end, which I really don't want to have to do. It was a big project. I got it done. It was 2 full days work. Now, the biggest pain in the butt with this whole build, the biggest stressor, was the Malossi Forcemaster 2.1. That was the most stressful because I knew I installed it the way the directions said, and it wasn't working. And nowhere on Malossi's site or Malossi's instructions or nothing that I Googled from Malossi told me that it needed to be different. As a premium of a product as this is, for it to be necessary when using their big bore kit, they have to know that you need to switch those 2 wires. They've done it. They have to know that you have to switch those 2 wires. And for that to be nowhere, the instructions they provide are a scannable QR code, which means they could go in and edit that whenever they want. I would encourage them to do that. Just add in that part. It would have saved me all the headache. It would have saved me splicing half the damn wires that I spliced trying to solve it. But for a premium performance product, I would expect a little bit more. Now, Scooter West said on their site that you have to swap the 2 wires, but they didn't specify exactly which ones. They said 2 wires going back from the harness. Maybe for warranty reasons or whatever, they don't want to take responsibility for that, and I understand that. But I wish Scooter West would just say, hey, listen, the male injector going to the Malossi Force Master, you have to cut and switch those 2 wires. That would have saved me 3-4 hours of going back and forth trying to figure out exactly what I had installed wrong. But that's not on Scooter West. That's on Malossi for not providing that. They're the ones who make it. Listen, I'm really happy with the results. I'm getting excited. I'm getting nervous because after the sit driven pulley, I'm not sure if I want to do the dry nitrous system we have before or after the overdrive gear. I think I'm going to do the dry nitrous system before the overdrive gear and then see if we can make up the lost acceleration with the nitrous afterwards. And then after that, guys, it's all uncharted territory. Looking at a NOS wet nitrous system, which if not for anything else, I think would look so funny if I had a NOS bottle mounted on the back of this. And then the turbo. And the turbo is gonna be the biggest work. The NOS system that I'm looking at, and it's from NOS, it actually comes with really detailed instructions and there's not much modification. You know, I gotta drill into the intake similar to the other nitrous system and I gotta tap into the fuel line, but that seems relatively simple. The turbocharger is going to be the biggest undertaking, bigger than the big bore kit. I think because we'll have to take the engine apart again and maybe put a thicker gasket. I don't know. I'm not sure what the PSI we're actually looking at would be. But listen, I'm having so much fun with this project. If you guys like this content, I'd really appreciate it if you drop a like, leave a comment. What do you think we should do after the dry nitrous? Should we do the wet nitrous or should we just go straight to the turbo? Should we do both? I'm leaning towards both. You guys let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching to the end, and I'll catch you on the next one.